first speaker today will be Scott Wilbur, my love of yard sales. My love of yard sales, Scott Wilbur.
Thank you, Glenn. Now, how many people here have been to a yard sale? Do you like them?
Yeah.
Because I don't. They really kind of bother me for a couple reasons. I think the first is that I used to work at a flea market. Now, who's been to a flea market? A lot of random crap for you to buy. That's what it was like at the one I worked at. I worked at Cape Cod's biggest and best flea market for 4 years, all during high school. And I saw a variety of tourist stuff. I saw t-shirts, I saw antiques, I saw easy bake ovens. So I saw a lot. Another reason I'm not a real big fan of yard sales is because my wife is. I have kind of a general ranking of stores we go to where we buy stuff we don't need. Obviously, Costco ranks number one. I can blow $100 in Costco any day of the week, but yard sales are a close second. So I don't really like yard sales very much. But being a student here at NPS, every quarter I have the opportunity to go to the yard sale of the year. That yard sale is the La Mesa Officer Student Spouses yard sale. And as a young guy going to one of these yard sales, I felt completely unprepared. The first one I went with my wife. And just as we had at the flea market, at the Wellfleet Flea Market, you could not step foot on the grounds before it opened unless you had a pass. It's kind of like your golden ticket if you were Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. Well, the first time we went to the La Mesa yard sale, we had the golden pass. We had the golden ticket, and it was the red vendor ID. So we started walking around the La Mesa yard sale, and it was great. Because to be honest with you, when you walk with a pregnant woman around a yard sale, you're kind of like a king. And when you walk with a pregnant woman that has a vendor pass, oh, all these women were loving us. Oh, was this your first baby? I mean, we're well rested. We don't have a stroller. You know, they can tell they're so happy for us. All these people that wanted to sell us all these things, walking around. Great experience. We bought bags and bags worth of clothes because clothes that would cost $20 at Oshkosh Bagosh, you can get for 50 cents if you have a pregnant woman with a pass at the La Mesa yard sale held once every quarter. So we left the yard sale. I almost kind of felt like Santa. I had these two big bags of clothes. I had a baby washing thing that I didn't even know what it did, but I had it. And we left. Now my second experience at the La Mesa yard sale, which is not unlike any yard sale, this is not La Mesa specific, these are just the ones that I've experienced lately, was very different. Number one reason it was different, I went in solo. My wife was busy, but I had this mindset that I needed to get things. You know, if my wife's been pregnant for 7.5 months, if I was to plot this out, along this 7-month timeline, there are certain times where I'm very aware that we're having a child, and certain times where I have no awareness whatsoever. Like last week, I'm telling her, hey, we should go to San Francisco next month, and there's this thing going on, blah, blah, blah. She thinks, I think we should have a baby. And I go. So various levels of awareness that I am that this kid is coming to our lives. And on that day, of my second time going to La Mesa yard sale, when I went solo, I was aware. They say that George Bush said that he is the decider. Well, my job that day was to be the provider. I was going to get everything this kid needed. I was going to get clothes, onesies, everything. And I was doing it by myself. And I was going to prove that I like shopping. My wife doesn't think I do. I actually don't like it. But I was going to prove to her that I could do it. I could go buy everything we needed for this kid at the La Mesa Officer Student Spouses yard sale. Now the interesting thing about going there as a single guy, and it's something I didn't really realize, when I'm surrounded by people, sometimes I put my hands in my pockets, and I didn't realize what I was doing, but I was putting my ring in my pocket, just kind of standing like this. Now when I was a single guy and I would go out to the bars, first thing I would look at is a ring. If she has a ring, off the market. That's what these women were doing to me. When I was walking around that yard sale with my hand in my pocket, I just felt like, single guy. Why is he looking at baby clothes? So I almost had to validate myself. Hey, I'm married, and there's a possibility that I could have a baby to fit in these clothes. Please don't stare at me. So I'm walking around by myself, completely unaccompanied, and I'm doing the loop there at La Mesa, and I'm going around, and honestly, I didn't find anything. I thought I was going to have these great deals. I got there early, and even though I didn't have my little golden ticket pass, I was going to find some stuff to clothe my child and make my wife happy with me. So I get to the very end of it, and I realize that I don't have anything. I brought about 40 bucks, and I need to spend this immediately because I'm not going home empty-handed. Last time I was here, I was leaving like Santa Claus. So I go to this last table, and luckily, it was right when we found out we're having a boy, so there's all these blue clothes and jeans and boy stuff. I was ecstatic. So I start going through the pile, and when you're at a yard sale and the other people come, well, these 3 really loud middle-aged women start coming over. And they're coming up on the table, and they're looking at let's say this is something of clothes. They start looking what I'm looking at, and I'm trying to be nice. That's fine. We can all shop here. I'm not the only one. But they started getting in my way. They're not throwing elbows, but getting a little closer than I would have liked. So I'm like, all right, game on. You want my stuff? So I started grabbing clothes, handfuls. All of a sudden I'm checking out, I got 20 bucks worth of baby clothes. And they're 50 cents a pop. So I was seriously spending, except for the really nice ones. So I was happy. I headed home. I had my bags full of clothes. I presented them to my wife, presenting them to the gods, hoping that she'd be happy with what I did. Unfortunately, some of this stuff was more of the 2-year-old range, so she told me, we're talking late 2009 by the time the kid fits into these clothes, but I'm prepared, and I got Tupperware, so we packed it up, and we're going to be ready for our move. So what I learned from all this, number one, I'm ready to go back to La Mesa and bring it to those ladies, because I hope I can again, because now I know the specifics of it. And number two, you really got to bring your wife to these kind of things, both for credibility and also so she can kind of run blocker a little bit, kind of give me some space. Mr. Toastmaster.